Hey guys, just want to do a quick little recording regarding the launch of the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro. Mainly I wanted to make this video because I saw this image on Twitter and it got me thinking. You know, it's 2021 now and a lot of people are still comparing the specs of the device to equate how good that device is. And unfortunately, it's not very black and white like that. I get it though. You look at the specs of like the Pixel 6 or the Pixel 6 Pro, and then you compare it to something a little bit higher price, and you're like, damn, that's a good deal. I'm getting so much for my money. But it comes at a cost, and specifically if you're coming from an iOS iPhone environment, say your family, relatives, people you communicate daily with have iPhones, then you're definitely going to notice quite a big shift in overall feeling and interaction and just the sheer amount of communication you have with those people, because it will drop significantly. You will gain some things by switching over. You're going to gain freedom. You're going to gain, you know, the choice to do what you want with your device, the freedom to install apps that you want from outside of the store, stuff like that. But you're going to be losing quite a bit as well. So let's get into the main reasons why I decided to make this video, and let's start with first-party integrations for iPhone that you will be losing by switching to this device. Let's start with one that pretty much everybody knows about, and that's Apple Pay, and even the Apple Card as well. Apple Pay gives you the ability to hook up your bank to an Apple account, and then you can pay with that at stores and whatnot. You can, you know, wirelessly tap, pay, you're good to go. Apple Card, on the other hand, is Apple's version of a credit card, and it works very well. It has a very good user interface screen where you can see all of your purchases, where they were, how much they were, how much interest you're paying on these purchases, how much cash back you're getting on these purchases, and it's very nice and very user-friendly. I think that is the number one thing that I lost personally when I switched over to the Google Pixel 5. When I switched to that, was I lost access to a lot of my Apple Card information and being able to pay with my Apple Pay at stores. Although you do have Google Pay, it's not quite the same because Google doesn't offer a credit card, and you won't get cash back by paying with Google Pay unless you have like a cashback debit card, but those aren't as popular as far as I've seen. All in all, you lose out on a lot of the integration of Apple Pay and Apple Card. If you have those, you're going to notice it. 100% you're going to notice, like, man, I can't use these anymore. They're basically useless. You do get Google Pay, which is something. It's just not as integrated, and you don't have as many cool features that you can do on iOS. Before I drop this topic, one of the main reasons why Apple Pay is so popular is because you have the ability to pay people from within iMessage, which is the default messaging app on iOS, and it's extremely easy to pay people or get paid if you have friends or family that are iPhone users, which was my case, and it really dampened things when I switched over, because I had to switch to Cash App to pay people, or Venmo, and it's fine, but it goes back to the whole iMessage debate of why people stay on iPhone, and it's usually due to iMessage, and I understand why. Google was actually in talks to make a like bank/credit card solution, and it was called Google featuring Plex or something like that, and it's not Plex the streaming service, it's Plex like banking. It was really weird. I was excited. I signed up for that right away, and then I think less than a year later they killed it. They just done. I don't know why they did it. I was excited, and it really made me mad when they canceled it, because it was like, finally Google's going to offer some competition to Apple in like the banking space, credit cards, debit cards, what you name it, right? And then they just canceled it out of thin air, and I don't understand it. Google has a really strong reputation of announcing something or like releasing something and then just dropping it out of nowhere. If you want examples of what I'm talking about, just go to killedbygoogle.com and you can see what I mean. It is quite a hefty list. And that moves us into our second point with Apple and Google. With Apple and iOS and iPhones and iPads and Mac, you are getting longevity. You are getting software support for a long period of time versus Android and Google. The Pixel's a little different because it's guaranteed updates day one, kind of like the iPhone, although it's only guaranteed for 3 years, even on the new Pixel 6. and 6 Pro. I was hoping for more, maybe like 5. That would kind of make it a little bit more even, but Google still said only 3, but security updates are 5. And it kind of hit me weird because I thought because they have their own processor now, they are able to supply those updates for even longer if they wanted, but for some reason they just chose to go with 3 years as standard, which is the same as before when they on Pixel 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. So hopefully, I'm hoping they change it. I honestly hope they change it in the future. I really hope they do to more years. That would, add some more competition into, hey, if I go with Pixel, I'll get longer updates and day one updates just like the iPhone. But as it stands right now with iPhone, with iOS, with Apple devices, you are getting software support for longer for a device you buy. And there's just no contest. With Apple, if they release something, they usually support it for quite an extended period of time, unless for some reason nobody buys it, kind of like the first generation HomePod. They ended support for that one after 3 years? I'm off the top of my head, I can't think. But that's because no one bought it because it was so insanely overpriced for what it was. That's why they released the HomePod Mini, and now those are selling like hotcakes, and they hit the right market for the right price. And I don't want to make this video too long, but I'll go into the third point and then I'll end it after that. If you want me to make a more in-depth one, I can. But the third thing that you lose is just integration with every other device that you have. AirPods, HomePods, Apple TV, Mac, the list goes on and on and on. For instance, on iPhone, if you have Apple TV, you can control your Apple TV with your phone. And if you lose the remote, or if you don't want to find the remote, if you're laying in bed, you can just pop over, hop into the Apple TV remote, and then just use that as your remote. If you switch to Google Pixel and you have an Apple TV, forget it. You can't do that anymore. You have to find the remote and you have to go and do it. It's just little tiny things like that. While I was using my Pixel, I have the Chromecast with Google TV, the one Google makes, and I know they've released it now. They have released a feature for it, but I couldn't use my phone as my remote for some reason. I couldn't do it, and they released it. I tried it, and it wasn't working. I couldn't get it to work. And you might be in the comments just like, oh, you're just an idiot. You don't know what you're doing. Well, maybe so, but that's where Apple comes in and they go, we're going to make it foolproof. We're going to make it idiot-proof to the point of, hey, this just works the way it does, and it just works. And that's kind of the magic with Apple. If you have a Mac and you have an iPhone and an iPad and you use iMessage, you are able to enable iMessage on each device, and no matter which one you are using, your messages will be on there, which is fantastic, and you can reply or send from any device that you have. With the Google Pixel, you lose some of the functionality. It's still there because they have Google Messages in the cloud, so you can go to google.messages.com or whatever and still text people from your computer or your iPad. On iPad, I think it's a little janky, but on laptop or desktop, it's usually fine. But it's just a lot more convenient, and it's hard to move away from that. And they really do lock you in with their system, but their system works really well. Now, AirPods do work with other devices, but they don't work seamlessly. They work just like any other standard pair of wireless headphones. You have to open them up, turn on Bluetooth pairing, pair them to your phone, Google Pixel, and then they work like regular headphones. But on iOS, all you do is you pull out your phone, plop, you hold up the AirPods next to them, flip them open, and they connect. And that's it. That's all you do, and it's magic. It really is magic. They make it feel like magic. Everything just works so seamlessly. I know Apple has some questionable design decisions. With the release of the latest MacBook Pros, they've kind of gone back on some of those, and it looks like they might be changing for the better, which is very promising. I like it a lot, and I'm excited to see where they go with their future phones, iPads, Apple TVs, and whatnot. So to summarize, basically, this picture just kind of made me think people are still comparing just specs in 2021. It is relevant. It really is. Specifications do matter in a phone, but software matters as well. And that's where things are kind of pivoting, and they go off in different directions. Google is working at their stuff more. I've noticed from the time I spent with my Pixel and all my Google devices. I have a Google Pixel Nest Home audio. I have a couple of those. I have a ton of Google Home Minis. Chromecast with Google TV. I got that as well. Those work pretty well together, but at this point, in my honest opinion, Apple's software still has it beat in just terms of it just works together flawlessly. And I really hope with the launch of this Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro, Google focuses more on their own ecosystem of products that can work together well and maybe catch up to Apple in terms of how fluid everything kind of transitions together. Yeah, with that being said, I want to say thanks for popping in for this short little video. Of course, there may be people in the comments that disagree. That's fine. Hit me with your comments. I'd love to hear it. Don't go ahead and fight on any, iOS versus Android video. There's going to be arguments. I don't know about me. I'm a small little channel, so I doubt this is going to even get to anybody's feed. But I just wanted to make this video just because this is the future of technology, and I really like diving in deep about it. So, you got comments? Leave them down below. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.